This is Dubs OT.
Can't wait.
With John Dickinson.
Hey, JD, what you up to, sugar? Long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
Curry will be on the inbound. He's the most dangerous guy. You get it back. And he gets it out to Morant. 5 seconds. 5-second violation. They could not inbound. 5 seconds. Oh, my goodness. Calamity.
Survive a play-in game. Who says the Warriors can't win a play-in game? Wow. Up 20 to down in the third quarter, and the Warriors have survived and advanced. The name of the game here in the play-in tournament as we welcome in here. It's Dubs OT with JD here at Esports Leader. 808 KNBR is the number. 415-808-5627. As Warriors get the win. Kyle, we good? Take a quick time out. We good? Hello? You got me? Can you hear me?
Let's take a quick timeout.
Let's take a quick timeout. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come right back. Dubs OT here on the Esports Leader.
Dub Nation. After the final buzzer. This is where you come for instant post-game reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is Dubs OT.
Can't wait.
With John Dickinson.
Hey, JD, what you up to, sugar? Long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
And who says the Warriors can't win a play-in game? All right, we're back. We're live. We're here at Harmonic in Thrive City. Good evening to you. Warriors get the win. 121-116 is the final. We welcome you in. It's Dubs OT with JD here on Esports Leader. 808 KNBR, the number, 415-808-5627, as we are live on YouTube and Twitch as well. A little bit of a technical issue with the and we won't spend too much time talking about this because we had a great game to talk about. A little bit of a technical issue with the box that allows us to also have Greg Silver participate in the show. So Greg may have to do a call-in on his way home tonight to jump in and join the conversation. Yeah, take two. Appreciate you here in the YouTube chat. But the Warriors find a way to get it done from up 20 to down in the fourth quarter. The Grizzlies really got it rolling in the fourth quarter. This game had a lot of real negative momentum for the Warriors going against them, but they find a way to get enough stops and get enough buckets. The question was kind of posed, could the Warriors get enough buckets down the stretch in this game other than buckets made by Steph Curry? I'm not sure they got that, but Steph Curry made the big buckets with the Warriors and having the game hang in the balance there in the closing seconds. Just a thrilling game, the second consecutive thrilling game. I know officiating is going to be a big part of the conversation probably among the fan base tonight. Not, though, as much as it would have been had the Warriors lost this game in what would have been just catastrophic fashion. But it winds up not being the case. The Warriors enough to survive and advance, and they beat the Memphis Grizzlies 121-116, the final. So they are on to Houston, first round of the playoffs. Warriors and the Rockets to play game one on Sunday, and it's going to be Sunday evening as well, a 6:30 local start for the Warriors and the Rockets in game one of that series. So the Warriors don't have to play on Friday night. The Grizzlies will play whoever wins tomorrow between the Kings and the Mavs. But the Warriors behind a massive Jimmy Butler game and a massive Stephen Curry game in particular in the fourth quarter. And that allows them to get through it. Not a lot of shot making, really, for the better part of this game from the others for the Warriors. But they do enough down the stretch and overcome, I think, some pretty poor officiating as well. And as you know, those who watch and listen to this show, I'm not one to complain about the officials, but there were a couple of late tough calls. The loose ball foul. You look at the loose ball foul where Draymond ended up having the foul upheld, where he was going after Edey, the chase down block by Brandon Pajemski, and then the late call on the loose ball foul against Kevon Looney as he was chasing down Steph Curry's miss, put Edey at the free throw line, which made it a 1-point game before the Warriors. Curry got trapped, had to call timeout. They ended up getting the ball into Steph a couple of times on the inbounds, which proved to be huge for the Warriors here to get Steph Curry at the free throw line to hit the free throws that ultimately iced the game. So survive and advance, name of the game. You hear that a lot during the NCAA tournament that just came and gone. Or came and went, and so that's all it is. I think these Warriors were gassed. I think it was the Grizzlies looked fresher down the stretch and got into a rhythm offensively. Not a perfect game by any means. I think the questions still around Brandon Pajemski and Moses Moody and their ability to make shots in the biggest of moments. Those things are still question marks for the Golden State Warriors moving forward, but now they've got at least the margin of being able to play a full playoff series against the Houston Rockets to be able to try and sort through it and grow and allow for the young players to continue to develop. But man, these play-in games, and I feel like this is the second true play-in game in a row or playoff style game in a row. And you could tell, I mean, it just wears both teams down by the end of it. And I thought the Warriors especially worn down, as this one went on, but found enough in the tank to get through it. I was starting to think, how in the heck are the Warriors going to have enough to be able to play on Friday if they have to play on Friday against either Sacramento or Dallas, but now not the case. Jimmy Butler, I mean, that was playoff Jimmy in the play-in Jimmy, also a thing which we've seen obviously during his time with Miami and the Heat and their ability to advance from the play-in to the playoffs and even make a run a couple of years ago. Jimmy answered the big-time question. He answered the question that everybody was asking really for the duration of the time that he's been a member of the Golden State Warriors. Would he be able to score major amounts of points in games where the Warriors need him to be a true, not only a number two, but basically a second number one to Steph Curry. And Steph brought the Warriors home in the fourth quarter of this one, ended up with 37, but the Warriors are nowhere, as they've been here for the last 2 months plus, nowhere without Jimmy Butler. And playoff Jimmy arrived a couple of games early, even the game on Sunday. You had it was Jimmy and it was Steph, and it was those two carrying the Warriors. And really, I thought tonight with Draymond in foul trouble and some of the defensive issues that popped up in the second half of this one, it was a scenario where your big boys always are the ones that bring you home, and tonight was all about Jimmy, and tonight was all about Steph, and it was all about Steph, and it was all about Jimmy, and I think Sunday, to a certain extent, was that as well, as the Warriors find their way to prevail. 121-116 is the final, so the Warriors on to the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. That is the number to give us a call or shoot us a text here. We will work on trying to get Greg Silver in the mix. We got to get this first segment off and rolling, though. We took long enough to try to set it up out here at Harmonic. But we'll run through some thoughts on the game if you want to react to it. We appreciate everybody watching on YouTube and Twitch as well, as the Warriors are headed to the playoffs once again for the first time since 2023. No bad taste remaining of getting blown out in Sacramento or losing to the Memphis Grizzlies 3 years ago or the Lakers prior to that game. The Warriors are headed to the playoffs, and I think headed to the playoffs when it's all said and done now. For weeks, are they going to be 6? Are they going to be 8? Are they going to be 7? Can they get to 4? Can they get to 5? All of those different things in play here. I think now that it's all said and done, and the Warriors wanted to not have to mess around with playing tonight and get the full week off and all of that. But now that it's all said and done, I think the Warriors are in position to have their best matchup for success in a first-round series. But they're going to have to play as well or better in ways that they played in the last 2 games and over the course of the last 2 months. And they're going to have some of the young players that maybe didn't perform as well in the last 2 games, and some of the players that might have at times looked a little bit tight. Some of the players that teams are going to dare to beat them have to come through. Speaking, of course, of Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody, but I think those two tonight showed that as long as the Warriors can find a way to get offense in a game here and a game there from the 2 alphas on the team, they can do enough other things to help a team grind out a victory in a game as important as tonight. So I think tip of the cap to them in that sense is that you can't only finish the game with 2 players. You got to have 3 other players out there, and then Draymond fouls out. So nod for GP and Moody to do other things. I thought the Warriors' hustle game was on point tonight, especially early. They made a huge point to try and hustle their way, diving on the floor with loose balls. I think Quentin Post might have been the X factor tonight, one of the X factors, because his ability to knock down the 3 3-point shots in the first half offset a little bit of the inability for Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody to make hay in terms of their ability to score. GP2 was big tonight. GP2 able to get to the bucket and make the Grizzlies pay on a couple of cuts and layups off of the defense attempting to try and make sure you take Steph Curry away. Jimmy Butler and his ability to get to the free throw line helped the Warriors win this game. The Warriors won this game on their free throws. And I know Jimmy ended up 12 of 18, which is less than ideal, but Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry, 25 points at the free throw line of their 60 out of their 75 points for the game. So 33% of their 75 for the game end up coming from the free throw line, and the Warriors end up a +8 at the free throw line in a game that they win by 6. So 808 KNBR, tale of 2 halves to be sure. Let's get to the phone lines. We'll get it started with Tim in Santa Rosa. A couple of lines open if you want to jump in and join the conversation. The Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line is open as well. We'll get into the YouTube chat. We'll see how long we're going to keep this thing going. Harmonic in Thrive City is cracking right now. Eddie, the owner's here. We got Alex in the house. Looks like we got Jesse in the house tonight as well. Folks celebrating, and I think more than celebrating, a lot of sighs of relief, a lot of exhaling tonight for Warrior fans, knowing that they're on to the playoffs and don't have to worry about another game coming up on Friday in Chase Center that would, in fact, have been an elimination game there. So let's get to our tip-off caller of the night. It's going to be Tim in Santa Rosa here, the sports leader. Tim, definitely a tale of 2 halves tonight.
Yeah, most certainly. I think had a few points to make, but you summarized it very well with that breakdown. But yeah, shouting out Quentin Post, 3 big threes in the first half. The team playing with a great sense of energy and urgency after falling behind pretty quickly there. But yeah, we've seen a lot of great things with Jimmy Butler and the team post trade, but then perhaps a few signs of really kind of being unable to close things out. A couple of turnovers there. Yeah, I don't want to get into the officiating late into the game because I don't think that it necessarily leaned one way or the other to where it really impacted the game, but did make it a bit stressful there. But the question that, most of us fans have, which is who's going to be that person to step up? And perhaps it's not necessarily one person individually, but rather contributions from Podziemski and Moses Moody, who could have seen better efforts, but then again, hustled their asses off. Podziemski with a great block there at the end of the game, even if it wasn't called the right way. 38 points from Butler. That game's not going to be won without his contributions. But yeah, I just want to get your take on how the Warriors are going to match up well enough against the Rockets. Inexperience there, so perhaps that could work better in our favor. But looking forward to other teams in the playoffs too, and how this could be used as an example to say, hey, we can be better in certain areas, or was it just a night of maybe inefficiencies or not getting the greatest contribution to scoring from the entire team as opposed to 2 individual teammates?
Yeah, no, the playoffs are all about, and I think we're seeing it in the play-in now, Tim. I mean, it's all about teams try to do everything they can to take the best 2 players out of the game, especially in the big moments, and dare others to beat them. And tonight the Warriors still got enough from Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, 75 points to win the game anyway. But I do think as things progress, one of the potential Achilles heels to this team is a lot of inexperienced players that are going to, for the first time in their careers, be on the biggest stage, and everybody's going to be watching whether or not they can knock down shots with the game on the line, and knock down shots that maybe are a little bit easier in game 1 and 2, or maybe are a little bit easier in the first and second quarters, but aren't going to be quite as easy in game 5 through 7 of a series, or in the third quarter or the fourth quarter once you get down by a bucket, and those shots need to go in. The Warriors did a great job tonight of, in a lot of those possessions where they could have fallen behind by more than a bucket, they got it to Steph and they got it to Jimmy Butler. And they basically, if they were going to go down, they were going to go down with those guys. Still, you need a couple of other, Quentin Post tonight, as we were talking about, provided some of that. But so much of the next series, the first series, and any series that the Warriors are going to play here in the playoffs, if they're to advance, is going to be about a lot of the young guys growing up fast and proving that and I'm talking about Moses Moody, I'm talking about Brandon Podziemski, I'm talking about Quentin Post, who looked the least bothered tonight of the 3 by the big moment. I'm even talking about Jonathan Kuminga, if he gets an opportunity. Again, didn't play tonight, didn't play Sunday, but he played his best basketball this season against the Houston Rockets. So I think if there is a scenario now with a little bit of margin for error where he gets back in, he's going to, they may need him to step in and step up. And he has not played well in limited sample size in play-in and playoff games either. So that's all going to be an important, thing to hone in on. But I think the one thing that you can do, regardless of whether your young players have the capability to make big shots, you can hustle your ass off. And I thought the Warriors tonight hustled their asses off from the opening tip. I think there was the one thing they regretted about their effort, which was strong. And thank you for the call, Tim. Their effort that was strong on Sunday was the fact that they didn't get on the floor and dive for loose balls. First half especially, but really the entire game. At times, the Grizzlies' size just beat the Warriors to the punch in the second half for some of those second chance points and opportunities and fouls and all those things. 26 second chance points for Memphis. But I thought the Warriors' hustle game tonight was on point, and that allowed for them to not make shots from some of the others and still win the game. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Warriors get the win. It's Dubs OT with JD here on Esports Leader as the Warriors are on to the playoffs. They win at 121-116 over the Grizzlies. On to Houston. By the way, real quick, we'll get to Mike and Greg here on the phone lines coming up. We know game 1 is Sunday. We know game 2 is Wednesday. The Warriors they're getting an extra couple of days early in this series, which is another aspect of things that I think benefits them as we start to shift. And look, tonight can be about what the Warriors did well. It can be about Jimmy DeGod tonight, really. I mean, Jimmy freaking Butler, as Kevin Harlan said. It can be about tonight. It can be about what is concerning moving forward. It can be about the Rockets matchup as well. But the one thing that I do think gives the Warriors an opportunity to settle in as an older team going up against the younger team, the early part of this series, Sunday game 1, and it's a night game, not an afternoon game, 6:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Central in Houston. Then they get 2 days off, Monday and Tuesday. They play game 2 on Wednesday in Houston, and then they get 2 more days off. They're not going to play game 3 at Chase until Saturday the 26th. Then it's every other day the rest of the way. So you get 2 days. You get 4 days before game 1. You're going to get 2 days before game 2. You're going to get 2 days before game 3, and then it's every other day the rest of the way. So I think there's an added emphasis for the Warriors at a minimum to be up 2-1 going into game 4, where the youth and the energy of the Houston Rockets and their physicality can start to maybe take a toll on the Warriors, because then you're talking about half cross-country flights on one day, basically from game 4 to game 5 to game 6, game 6 to game 7, if the series winds up going the duration. All right, back to the phones we go here. Mike in San Francisco joining the conversation on Dubs OT here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Mike.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well tonight. How are you? What a game. What a couple of games. Survive in advance.
Sorry to cut you off on it. I know I'm like, I just came out to my car and had to give you a call. But look, just a few quick points, and I'll get your take, on the air, off the air. But concerning playoff experience, the young guys on Golden State, the tutelage from Curry, Draymond, and even Jimmy Buckets, I think is good, of course. But and then I look at OKC, and I'm not saying that looking forward to them, but experience on that team in terms of playoffs. But what concerns me most, JD, is we can't ask Jimmy Buckets and Steph for 75 points a night. That's
once a series tops. It's once a series tops, and they're lucky they got it tonight in a game that they had to have.
Oh yeah, and I once again, Post hitting those threes early on. I mean, that guy wasn't phased. That guy's a stud. But yeah, 7. I mean, and we barely pulled it out. So that's just my concern. I'm optimistic. I think Houston, of course. Well, they were of course watching the game, but they better be ready.
Yeah. Well, and they asked for it. No, they did. I mean, some of the comments, and we touched on it on this show after the Warriors-Rockets game here, I guess about a week and a half ago now. All the days and all the games are running together here. But, I mean, the comments from Ime Udoka about the Warriors, I mean, essentially calling the Warriors whiners about the officiating in that game. I mean, do that at your own peril, because you may see him again. I mean, I said it that night, and I think the Rockets were so emboldened at that point because it looked like they were not going to face the Warriors again at that point. I mean, remember, the Warriors were able that night to maybe even get up to 4th if they had found a way to win that game. Ended up 7th, and now here we go. It's going to be a matchup of the Warriors and the Rockets. Rockets are a terrific young team. They're extremely physical. At times, they lack the scoring punch they need. And here's the other thing that they've really struggled with. They've struggled in close games. They've struggled to find offense. Sound familiar? They've struggled to find offense down the stretch in games some of the time. So I think, that's a series that the Warriors are going to have to win with their defense and grit and grind. It's a series that really is going to beat the heck out of them, a lot like I think tonight's game did in its own way, and like the game against the Clippers did in its own way. So the Warriors are going to face challenges of the cumulative effects of the types of games that they've played here, but I think the experience is definitely, and the early rest, Mike, that we were just talking about, the early part of this series really favors the Warriors because of the 4 days off before game 1, 2 days before game 2, 2 days before game 3. If the Warriors can't take advantage of that, I think this is going to be a very difficult series for them to come back in, but they might be able to play the series from a position of advantage from game 3, game 4 on, and that might be their path to winning and moving on. But they're going to have to get more, without a doubt, Mike. They are going to have to get more from the others than they got tonight in a series against anybody. Otherwise, they're going to be heading home. 808 KNBR. Let's continue on the phone lines here on Dubs OT with Mike in San Francisco. Is it one mic to another? Is Mike then? Yeah, from one mic to another here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Mike. Oh, it's Greg. Okay, Greg is next on the phone line. Sorry, I thought we had another mic. Hey, what's up, Greg?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, I was at the game, and it's freaking embarrassing to watch Draymond Green play offense. 5 points, 6 fouls. We have to get more from Draymond. You can't keep blaming Moses and Brandon and JK. Draymond's an NBA, is supposed to be a Hall of Famer, and he can't even score more than 5 points in a basketball game? Ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there is a difference between 4 and 10 or 12, I think. And, he didn't hit a 3 tonight. He missed some layups tonight. Like, he was very comfortable taking some threes tonight. He's got to figure out a way. There is a dramatic difference. And, again, I agree with you in the sense that you always look at your best players, and he is still one of their best players. If you can get 10, there's a major difference, and maybe this game looks a little bit different coming down the stretch. I think a lot of it is the ability to finish on the interior on some of these plays where basically the defense is completely drawn away and he gets the ball in a position where he's got to make a play. I'm looking at his shot chart tonight for Draymond, and it was the threes. He missed a couple on the interior, 1 of 2 in the paint, and then 0 for 3 from 3. So tonight it was really more just didn't hit the 3-point shot, missed 1 on the interior there. But, yeah, I think 3 is probably 1 too many threes on a night where he hasn't hit one for him to take. But, again, it's going to have to come from everybody. So I don't disagree with that point that Draymond's got to figure out ways to, not really look to shoot it a lot, but when he gets opportunities to be efficient with it and help, alleviate some of the fact that the Warriors still, Greg, are an offensive constrained team, I think, even with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry doing what they did tonight. Anything else on your mind?
Yeah, also fouling Desmond Bane at half court with 50 seconds to go.
Awful.
That was ridiculous.
You're up
for
6.
A leader on the team that was just embarrassing.
No, I made a note of that as well. You're up 6. There's a minute left, basically, 58 seconds, 59 seconds. He's got 5 fouls in that moment. So you want to at least make the Grizzlies take 10 seconds off before they score. You definitely don't want to put them on the free throw line, and you don't want to foul out. So that was not like it was way too over-aggressive for that situation. Just get up on Bane and defend him and preferably make him use some time. And if he's able to use some time, and he's, hits a layup 10 seconds in, that's great. You got the ball back, go score, put the game away at that point. So, Greg, I'm with you. The foul trouble tonight, again, Draymond's still somebody that you want on the court, the defense, the intangibles, all of those things, but he's got to be smarter in some of the moments with the things that go down as, plays that you can't be one of the smartest players of all time and have that be your calling card in a big moment in a must-have game. So fair enough, Greg. Good stuff. Anything else?
That's
One
it.
more?
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, Greg. Appreciate you, man. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. It's Dubs OT with JD here on eSports Leader. Kyle, let's get into the chat a little bit, and then we'll get back to Carlos. Let's go rapid fire here. Let's get like 5 chats. I appreciate everybody. We're well over We're pushing 300 in the room right now here on Dubs OT tonight, and we appreciate it. Read the Steed. This dude sounds like he was yelling at the game. Yeah, he definitely did. It was one of those games, man. Like it was one of those games where it's exhilarating to be a fan, and it's also you want to just chew your arm off it's just like as a fan, like what is. And then you're also having the thought, I think, of they got to do it again Friday. And if they don't win that one, they're out. Like you could feel it because it was like a party in the first half. It was like a party. It's going to be a blowout. Warrior fans don't like seeing the Grizzlies jersey, just like they don't seeing the Rockets jersey, just like they don't like seeing James Harden. Just like when the Lakers are here, like they were into it early tonight. And then in the second half, when the Grizzlies got back in the game, really cut it down before halftime. Second half, really a little tight. Not going to lie. Chase was a little tight in the second half, erupting in the big moments. But I thought the Warriors allowed for enough big moments to where the crowd was able to stay in it. But my goodness, you got a lot of people that are going to be feeling this game, I think, tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, and all the way till Sunday night at 6:30 when they play again in Houston. FL Dubs fan, I think the Rocket series will feel like the battles with them back in the day, Chris Paul and company. Look, Chase was on the Rockets a week and a half ago. I thought that was as loud as any game all year when the Rockets were at Chase on April the 5th or whatever it was. My days are April the 6th on the Sunday evening. That series is going to be absolutely lit. That series is going to be a knockdown, drag out, physical grudge match of a series. Young versus old. The Rockets have a couple of vets that the Warriors obviously know well, and Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, but they got all the athleticism in the world, and really a nice. It is conflicting styles. It is conflicting ages. The series really has everything. And in a playoff series, all eyes obviously going to be on the officiating as to whether or not they let the teams play or not. I thought they let that game a week and a half ago get a little out of control, and then they tried to get it back in control. And then I think it kind of threw the second half out of whack where there was just no flow. And obviously nobody wants to see that. Where the game doesn't have any, a flow to it, especially the Warriors. Scissorhands checking in here. Can Looney still play? He doesn't rebound anymore. He can't block or alter shots. He's guarding someone, but also not guarding anyone. Same with Post. Well, Quentin, you can't just not play another center other than Draymond. So, and look, Quentin Post made 3 threes tonight. I thought he threw his body around. I thought he threw his weight around. I thought Quentin Post was really good tonight. And going up against Edey, I think, is the perfect matchup for Quentin Post to steal some minutes. As far as Looney is trusted. Looney, again, against some of the true big teams, like tonight, at times it looks rough. At times it looks like he can't finish on the interior. But Looney scraps, and Looney grinds. And I'll tell you, Looney hit Steph on a relocate 3. Like, he sees the Steph Curry game where he'll flip the ball to Curry and set a quick little screen on a handoff, and Curry will hit a bucket. Like, he understands what the Warriors do. And again, you can't, for this team's lack of size, you can't only play Draymond at center. Like, your only options are Draymond, Looney, and Quentin Post. Because as much as Looney and Post may be flawed in their own right, you're not going to TJD at this point. And so I think it becomes more of an off-season conversation as to how the Warriors bolster the big man position, what types of players they can get to add and augment Draymond and Quentin Post, who I think are going to be on the team for sure next year. All right, let's get a couple of more here. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Erwin Kwong, you'd think the NBA would be embarrassed by the quality of officiating in what is the start of the playoffs. NBA officiating authenticity is just thin veneer at this point. I thought the officiating tonight was pretty bad down the stretch. And I cited a couple of the calls. I thought the Looney loose ball foul was way late. I thought the Podziemski chase down block was way late and not a foul. And I think that's when where you look at the replay, we all see the replay of it. And I'm sure the folks at home see the replay watching on television. And immediately, like, that's a call that I think would have gotten overturned. The problem is Steve Kerr's got to quit getting bullied by Draymond Green into bad challenges, because I do think, and I know the crowd went nuts when Kerr challenged the loose ball foul on Draymond with Edey. I thought that was a foul. I don't think it was a shooting foul, but I think that was a foul. So as bad as the officiating was in some instances, I thought that one was a foul. I thought that one was a bad challenge. I think we've seen this over and over with Draymond. We talk about Draymond having to be smarter. We've seen this a lot with Draymond Green. He goes, and I don't think he's bullying Steve, but I think Steve trusts him. And Draymond has let Steve down. I mean, how many times have you seen Draymond imploring Steve Kerr to challenge a call that winds up not working out? And I think if you don't challenge that one, which wasn't even a shooting foul, if you don't challenge that one, I understand it was Draymond's fifth. But if you don't challenge that one, maybe you could challenge the Podziemski chase down block. That was the thing that was in my mind from the moment that play happened, that, oh my God, there might be another play that the Warriors want to challenge and can't, that they might have actually gotten the call on. So, yeah, the officiating is going to have to step up and get better. And again, it did not fit the script of what you would think would be the old David Stern NBA, where they'd be helping the Warriors get to the finish line because you'd want them to be in the biggest, highest marquee games. Although the Grizzlies might tell you, hey, the Warriors ended up with more free throws, and Jimmy Butler foul grifted his way to basically 38 points and leading the Warriors to win in this one. Let's continue on. Diggum 117. JD, does Kerr shorten his bench even more now they're in a playoff series? I don't think you can, at least in the first few games. Historically, here's where things are different. The rest, you can shorten it a little bit, but you want to get guys a taste early. You want to get guys a taste early in the series and get comfortable. So I don't think you can shorten it. I think, if anything, you want to shorten it as the series goes on because guys play their way out of favor. But this is a unique flip in that the Warriors have all this off time. Good night. We appreciate Eddie here at Harmonic calling it a night. It's Eddie, the owner. So you damn right I stop mid-thought and say, hey, thanks, Eddie. Have a great night. We appreciate you having us out here for Dubs OT. But, yeah, Eddie's fired up. Alex is fired up. We're going to try to get Greg Silver on here, a little tech issue. But, yeah, everybody's got to stay ready. Jonathan Kuminga obviously is going to have to stay ready. But, no, I don't think you can shorten it even more in the early part of the series. But it is unique in that most of the rest time is going to be in the first 3 games, lead up to the first 3 games, and then it's every other. If anything, on paper, you would say you need to go deeper as the series goes on, but that's not typically how it plays out. So I think Steve has to try in the first couple of games to get people involved to where they have enough confidence later on in a series, if they get thrown in there, to be able to make an impact on the outcome. All right, let's go to Bill in Pleasanton next here on Dubs OT on the Sports Leader. What's going on, Bill?
Hey, JD, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm bringing my son Luke home from his first Warriors game. Very excited about the outcome. Yeah.
What a game for your first game. That's a great game.
I wanted to go over a little bit the JK decision of
Sure.
the Rockets game. I felt like JK should maybe play in a little bit because Draymond, you know how he fouls really early in the quarters and they don't take him out. I feel like at those times, because Draymond's getting a little older, if he keeps fouling, he has trouble fouling. So I feel like JK should get some time in because he's one of the younger players. He can keep Draymond having some more energy for the fourth quarter and having less fouls in the Rockets. And JK has done historically really well against the Rockets. 25 points per game. I feel like that should be known for, really, in the Rocket series.
I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play against the Rockets. I think in the early part of the series, I think Steve's going to get him some run because I think he knows as the series goes on, he's going to have to keep everybody fresh. So great phone call, great take. I think when Steve decided that Jonathan Kuminga was not going to be in the rotation Sunday, I think he kind of also decided that Jonathan Kuminga was not going to be in the rotation until the Warriors got into the playoffs. I think he wanted to make sure they got in. And again, I think it's going to be quick cook. But I do think he's going to get an opportunity in part because he has played so well against Houston. And if he plays well in those opportunities, I think he'll get more opportunities. It is. We've seen it a few times in the chat, Bill. It really is stay ready for Jonathan Kuminga. And now that this team is in, you get a little breathing room for at least a game or two to where everything doesn't have to be perfect. And you can try to let a series play out and see who's got a good matchup and the like. Anything else tonight on the
JD,
line?
Yeah, one more thing. I have a question because you brought up the foul that Kerr reviewed. If they go and review that play, it seemed to me that Eddie was like pushing down on Draymond's face before he really initiated anything that was a foul. Isn't the whole play reviewable? Because it would seem like that should have been a foul on Memphis.
It is. The whole play is reviewable. They can go back on even the example I always use, Bill, is on an out-of-bounds call. So let's say that, out-of-bounds Grizzlies ball, and you can look and say, oh, wait, there was a foul, actually. And so even though the ball went out off the Warriors and it's Grizzlies ball, actually there was a foul on the Grizzlies, so it's going to be Warriors ball. Or the Warriors would shoot free throws if they're in the penalty. Yeah, the whole play is reviewable. They deemed, I think because when the call on the floor in that instance is that the foul was on Draymond, I think it may lend less credence toward getting overturned. But they look at everything, and so they determined that one was going to be upheld. I didn't love that one in terms of a challenge because, again, I think it wasn't a shooting foul. Again, I think the only reason he really did it was because it was Draymond's fifth, and he didn't want to have to take Draymond out even for 2 minutes, at which he did, and the Warriors actually survived it for about a minute and a half, which was part of the story tonight. But to answer the question simply, Bill, yes, all of it is supposed to be reviewable, and you can go back and, I didn't see that. That actually happened. We're going to make the call this now.
Yeah, those refs need review after that performance, but thanks for taking my call. It was
poor. Yep, it was poor, Bill. Thank you so much. 808 KNBR from Bill to Reggie in Vallejo next here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Reggie.
Hey, what's up, JD? Man, what a freaking game. Oh, my goodness.
Incredible. I mean, it really, like, I look great. I'll let you go, Reggie, because I could hardly find the words to start the show. I mean, it was just like, where do you even start tonight? They won, so that's obviously the lead. But I mean, so many different things happened in this game, Reggie. But the floor is yours, my friend.
No, I appreciate you, JD. Always got the best post-game show. I just wanted to call in and give you some thoughts on the game and also a little bit about what I think of the Houston matchup. But I think it's cool. I actually called you last year when they lost to the Kings in the play-in. So it's cool to call you back, and it's like, damn, we finally got over the hump.
No, the play-in is not the kryptonite anymore. 1 year that was 1 year ago tomorrow on the 16th when that all went down, and Sacramento gets to play that game again tomorrow night. So cheers to them, Reggie. Cheers to them, Reggie. Good luck.
No, for sure. And Jimmy, I mean, dude, he's a godsend, man. 2 months ago, we weren't even thinking we can make it into the play-in, let alone make it to the first round of the playoffs. You know what I mean? And now we're here gonna play Houston. But I just wanted to give some thoughts on and to shout out Clinton Post and Gary Payton. I mean, they combined for 23 off the bench in a night where Brandon Podziemski only scores 3 points. And Moses Moody with a couple hustle points here and there, but he only gives us 9 points. And man, Steph and Jimmy really had to carry the load. But I think going into that Houston series, I don't know if that's going to be sustainable. The offense, what I'm talking about. And the thing with Houston is I don't think they have a bona fide superstar they can rely on. I haven't watched them too much in the year, but nobody on their roster screams out to me that they're an absolute bucket getter. Maybe Fred VanVleet, he's got one ring, but
Sengun, Alperen Sengun was their all-star, and he's extremely skilled, and I think. But Jalen Green is the guy who ends up taking a lot of shots down the stretch in games. Jabari Smith Jr. Is somebody who's come on, and they lean on VanVleet in the big moments there. But Sengun, who was picked, I think it was 2 picks after Moses Moody. Moody went 14. I think Sengun went 16 in that 2021 draft. Has developed nicely into a really skilled offensive player. Little bit of Sabonis, a little bit of Jokic, like real good, real good offensive player. And he's played better defense. They've really worked on his defense to where he's not a complete liability out there this year. But the Rockets in crunch time don't totally know who they want to go to, which I think is something that could be exploitable in this series. Jalen Green's the guy who wants the shots, but Jalen Green, and he hit some shots against the Warriors in the game here last week, but he's also a guy that might shoot you out of a game with a couple of bad shots down the stretch in some of those. So that's been kind of their Achilles heel this year, but Sengun has been the guy who is probably their best all-around offensive player.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I think if Sengun matches up with, if Quentin Post comes off the bench, I think you make him come out to the perimeter and kind of make him, move his legs a little bit and test that out and keep swinging the ball and make him come out. But other than that, I think this is the best, option for the Warriors going into the first round and getting all that rest. I know we didn't get that game against the Clippers, but this was the other best option.
It is.
Jimmy played 40 minutes tonight and the other night 48 minutes. So I know those guys are pretty tired.
It's one day less, and you had to play one more game. But I do think the way that the next series is scheduled early, where again you get the 4 days, but then you get 2 before game 2 and 2 before game 3. I think that's huge to allow the Warriors to kind of regain their bearings. And then if it's a long series, hey, you're playing every other with some travel, halfway across the country. You're just going to have to deal with it. But I think the league is doing them a little nod, wink, wink solid at the beginning of the series to at least make sure that they can be competitive at that point. I really do, Reggie. I think the NBA does know where the cash cows lie. And obviously, obviously you want the Warriors to at least play a lengthy first-round series if possible.
Yeah. One last thing, Jay.
Sure.
I can take this off the air, but if you're Steve Kerr, do you are you 100% sure you don't play Jonathan Kuminga tonight? Because, maybe the implications of tonight's game is big, but I was pretty shocked that he didn't play. But I get why he didn't play. And he went to Guy Santos. Look at the motor.
I was too. I was too. I was too, Reggie. But I think it's hard to say if you're Steve Kerr, you're out of the rotation Sunday, and then because there was a lot of public outcry, basically, or media outcry, that you're just going to give him time just to give him time. That's something you would do in the regular season. I think Kuminga, and we didn't know this before the game. I think we know it now. And thanks for the call, Reggie. We know it now that he was going to be out of the rotation, I think, until they actually got into a series. And now that they're in a series, I think it gets reevaluated. And I think he played his best against the Rockets, statistically this year. So I do think he's going to get an opportunity in the next series. And I think the Warriors are going to have to expand the depth chart a little bit in the next series if they're going to make it through, because the Rockets are so physical. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right, let's Kyle, what do we got to do here? What do we got to do here?
Well, let's go to Danny in Vancouver, friend of the show.
All right. So because it's Danny, and I needed to. So we're good on the spots and all that. Okay. You're listening to KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus media station. It's Dubs OT with JD. We're off and rolling, and don't tell my boss that this segment is like 50 minutes and counting. Don't tell him, because I got in trouble for that. Like, I'm just going to admit it. I got in trouble for that, like, I don't know, a month ago. But because we had a little technical issue, Greg Silver's looking at me like he's going to get me in trouble. Greg, don't do that. Don't get me in trouble. I don't. So, but we're good. He was like, yeah, JD, no more 50-minute segments. No more 50-minute segments, JD. We can't do. I owed the people a 50-minute segment because we had a little technical issue. The biggest night of the year. We got 300 people waiting to watch on YouTube. We got people waiting to call full phone lines. Sometimes you got to do what's right. So we're going to keep it going. One more. Mike Holler is a chill boss, Otis. Mike Holler's a great boss. He's a great boss. There's no doubt. Danny in Vancouver up next here on Esports Leader. Danny, I'm taking your call, and if I get a phone call tomorrow from my boss, I'm just going to say, hey, Danny demanded it.
Give the people what they want, right, JD?
We can't, this is a full disclosure show. I got in a little trouble for going a little too long and not getting some spots in, and it was like, don't let it happen again. So Kyle tells me we're okay, but Danny, I couldn't make you wait 5 more minutes, my man. I couldn't do it.
You're a gentleman. Thank you so much. I got your back, JD. If you get in any trouble, don't worry.
Thank you.
We all got your back. So
appreciate it.
It's interesting waiting so long. So not that long. Sorry, not complaining, but because new thoughts on the game keep popping up. Mixed them up, and down. But I know we had a little bit of a debate as to whether the Clippers won or the Warriors kind of lost the last game. But in this case, it would have absolutely been Warriors losing this game, choking it up. But it was a great game, very nerve-wracking. I thought I got to give credit to Memphis. I thought they really fought. They played well. Bane was great. I agree with you totally. I thought Post played some key minutes, and the moment wasn't too big for him. I mean, I was really impressed. Love to hear what you think of that. That he just was very composed. It seemed like he was totally not flustered. I'm going to give Pods a pass on his game tonight, because this is probably the biggest game he ever played. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Definitely.
And I think he's going to grow from this. I think he's a really good player. He's got a lot of confidence, and I think he's going to be really, really important in the next series. I predict Post is going to be the X factor, though, and I agree with you. I thought his defense was good. I didn't think he played really smartly, and I think he's got great size, so I think he's going to be good next series. And I think that I think that the two best players in the series are on the Warriors. So I feel good about the Warriors' chances. And I think the first game, if they can take that first game, if they can sneak it or steal it, I think they're in really good shape. So love to hear your thoughts.
No question.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always when, I think, Danny, you win the first one, and you might be able to win the second one with the rest. Like I could see it, like the Rockets, because they are so inexperienced.
Yeah.
And they are so emotional. Right. The Rockets are an extremely emotional team, right? They ride emotion and physicality and brute force, and they are gonna beat you down. I mean, they really, like, they are gonna make their presence felt physically, use their athleticism. I think you get the first one, and maybe that second game it's a little bit tight in that building, and then maybe you can even take 2 of the first 2. So you see it in all sports. You see it. I mean, you see it in the NHL for sure. I mean, the team takes the first one on the road. Oh, they take the second one. Team takes the first one on the road. Oh, they take the second one. All of a sudden, it's a short series. I'm with you on Pods. I'm with you on Post. First of all, I mean, unfazed. Edey was a nice matchup to get him in and be comfortable. And he just he took the threes that he hit tonight like with the mindset. I'm not saying he is this guy, but he took the threes tonight with the mindset of Klay Thompson. Like Quentin Post was basically like, I'm Klay Thompson. I'm shooting this. I'm shooting it. Like he took it like a future Hall of Famer and great all-time shooter. And you got to have that confidence, even though obviously we know he's not that player. And with Pods and Moody both, I mean, it really does boil down to those two are starters on this team. So you just have to let it ride. And if they aren't good enough, then it is a learning experience. But you can't not play everybody, Danny, right? Like they've been too big a part of it. They've been too big a part of it, and they've been a big part of the starting lineup that has the great record. And so you just have to. I agree. So yeah, I think you do have to. I agree with you. You got to chalk that up to learning experience for both Pods and Moody, and you hope that now you won the game, so you get more comfortable for the next game. So I'm with you on that. Yep, you got it, Danny. Let's do it. No, you're good.
Just to button up the last point on Houston, I think if Warriors take that first game, the experience plus the added pressure is going to really flip it. I'm not saying they're going to cruise through, but I think if they can take that first game, really be a big deal. I agree with you completely. I think Kuminga could have a really good opportunity to play and contribute in the next series. I was a little surprised. I guess he didn't play this game, but it makes sense now in retrospect.
Yes.
And the last thing regarding the refs, I know you're usually more tolerant of the bad reffing. Not only was the reffing poor at the end, I thought they just made some bad calls. While I was waiting, I replayed and please watch and correct me if I'm wrong. I replayed that 5-second call. That was a really fast 5-second call at the end. And I know it benefited the Warriors, so I'm not going to complain. But I thought it's usually, it's like 1001, 1002.
Yes. But you usually get a sixth beat. You usually get 5.5.
Especially at the end of a game when it's on the line like that, right? So
totally. No, I'm with you.
Yeah. So
no, I think that's a good call. You usually get that extra beat like in the NFL. With the play clock, there's always that extra beat. Like it goes to 0, and then there's an extra beat, and then they call it if the ball isn't snapped. But no, I'm with you. I that's a great one, and maybe that's one that they're talking about tonight and tomorrow in Memphis as like, come on, really? Like when do you see that? But it's tough when you don't have a timeout. We saw the Warriors. I was concerned that the Warriors were not going to be able to throw the ball in. When do inbounds passes become such a huge part of a game? But the Warriors' ability to get the ball to Steph on a couple of inbounds passes where he was the one shooting the free throws, I mean, that might have won him the game tonight in the final seconds. Also.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Great
Danny.
show, JD. Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. Enjoy the week. Get rested up, and we'll talk to you Sunday.
Safe travels, my friend. Thank you.
All righty, you got it. Danny in Vancouver checking in here. All right, that's it. Timeout. We're going to take a timeout. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. We're going to try to get connected with Greg Silver, who has hung out to this point. I love Greg Silver. Greg, come here. Greg, come here. Greg, I love you, bro. Like this is my guy, Greg Silver. Great to see you. He's hanging out. We had a little technical snafu. He's in the chat. He's just the man. He's the man, and you can catch Greg Silver tomorrow 10 to 2 here on the Sports Leader, and every day 10 to 2 on the Sports Leader with Greg Papa. But let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll try to get things fixed technically. We'll talk to Greg a little bit more from the chat. Just great night. It was a great game, couple of great games. We'll set the table for what's coming up with the Warriors and the Houston Rockets, and I think we're going to have a Dubs OT first tonight, Kyle Haar. I think we're going to have a Dubs OT first. Greg might know this. It hasn't happened since we've been together, Kyle, on this show. I think we're going to go to midnight.
That's an easy decision, I think.
I think we're going to midnight tonight. Estimated eyes, by the way, in the chat. Greg can grow facial hair? Question mark. Little facial, Greg? Little shadow? Greg's got a little shadow. I mean, he just had a big birthday, so like he's getting old. Yeah, right. Anyway, all right, 808 KNBR, timeout. Warriors win 121 to 116, and we're talking about it right here in the Sports Leader.
Live from downtown.
Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang!
This is Dubs OT with John Dickinson on the Sports Leader. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
It's Curry off the screen. Fakes. Fires. He just stuck it. Timeout.
Indeed, he stuck it. Kevin Harlan on TNT. Man, I'm going to miss TNT. I am going to miss TNT. We should all appreciate TNT while we've got the – and I know a lot of the – I know the Inside the NBA show has been saved and all that. It's going to be on ESPN. And Kevin Harlan, I think, is going to be working for NBC or Peacock or whatever. But TNT is truly a, 35, 40-year NBA treasure. Like, it goes back to my childhood and, a decade before Greg Silver was even alive. But, yeah, Kevin Harlan on the call. 3 of Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler's 75 points combined as the Warriors advance to the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. Tonight, officially, they beat the Grizzlies 121-116. We are live from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. 808 KNBR is the number. It's Dubs OT with JD here on the Sports Leader. And we bring in, fingers crossed, everyone in the chat, fingers crossed. Kyle's got his fingers crossed. We bring back Greg Silver. Greg, mic check 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2. Are we good? Are we alive?
Are we good? Can everybody hear Greg in the chat?
Breaking news, we're good.
We're good. Kyle Harf says we're good. We are good. Joining me live here at Harmonic.
I got to say, though, it was kind of worth it in a way to be having those technical snafus because the comments that were coming through the chat about my DNP were so good. I was Moses Moody. I was a last-minute injury report edition, and then I had back spasms, and now I'm here because I decided, no, I'm staying. I'm playing. We're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, Greg could have taken his ball and gone home. Oh, my God. Dig'em 117. Greg Silver, DNP. DNP, technical difficulties. No, we wanted to obviously get Greg Silver in the mix here.
Santos on Sunday when he got up for the scores table, and it was like, nah.
Nah, Steve's like, because let's be honest, you know what really happened? Steve was like, yeah, I don't want to play Kuminga, but I have to also not play Gee. Otherwise, people are going to be like, why you play Gee over Kuminga? Even though in Steve's mind, they're in the same caliber of player. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. At least not right now. Erwin Kwong, again, Greg Silver's 5 o'clock shadow greater than JD's. I did. We had picture day today. I don't know. We'll get to the game, but basically to let everybody know. So there was KNBR promotions and digital, they hired a photographer today. Seriously. And it's hey, all the hosts need to get, it was picture day back in second grade. You got to get promo pictures taken. So it Greg had to do it, obviously. Greg and all the shows did it. I had to do. So I actually trimmed it down. Yeah, Bennett Roth. How about the jacket? This was a new one today as well. Yeah, how about that? The KNBR swag right here. Yeah, Kyle's like, why don't I have any of that?
It's also news to me, by the way.
So yeah, today was picture day. And John H. JD doing his Don Johnson from Miami Vice. That's another thing that's at least a decade older than you. Probably a decade and a half. I only know the Don Johnson Miami Vice because I watched way too much television when I was a kid. When I was in single digits. Yeah. I was watching The Tonight Show and Miami Vice.
Yeah, look at you now.
Yeah, I'm totally normal. I watch things that I should not have been watching. So I'm in the early 40s, going on 60 in terms of my television acumen because I watched a lot of stuff that nobody should have been watching.
I mean, if you ever listen to the type of music that I talk about on the show, I'm 26.
Yeah, I know you are. You're an old soul. You are
57.
Anyway, so today was picture day. So it was I decided I wanted to trim the beard down a little bit. Fantasy Island, Joe H. Yeah, I remember DePlane. I know Fantasy Island. Greg's like, what are we doing here? I try to get away from it. Greg's like, I try to get away from this, JD, when I come on with you. I try to get away. Max Lopez in the chat. The 2-minute report should be a good read. The 2-minute report will not be great.
Yeah.
Wow, what a game. Greg Silver was in attendance tonight at Chase. I mean, I spent the last hour babbling about it. I mean, give me your just big picture takeaways.
I mean, takeaway number one is this is why you make the trade for Jimmy Butler. 100%, right? Like, Steph has had the same pattern the last 2 games now in a playoff-like environment where he's got the thumb wrap. Shot selection can be a little iffy. He's not hitting the ones that you think he's going to hit. Then the fourth quarter happens, and he's like, oh, I need to score. I'm going to crank it up. In the meantime, Jimmy Butler, all those questions about does he need to be aggressive and is he able to score 40 if he has to? It's like, wait, when it was time to turn it on, Jimmy Butler was good to go. And, I mean, outside of missing 6 free throws, this was an A-plus performance from Jimmy Butler across the board. Really what it was is if you want to have any success in the playoffs, it's coming down to your 3 best players showing up. Jimmy Butler did it, Steph Curry did it, and Draymond Green did it. I thought the turning point of the game was Draymond Green's 5th foul early third quarter. Kevon Looney, and you know I love Looney.
After the bad challenge.
Yes, after the bad challenge. And he couldn't hang his 4th foul.
Oh, okay.
In the early, Sorry,
Yes.
Draymond Green's 4th foul in the early third quarter. And then Looney was in, Post was in, you got into it, you had to play a center, but those two couldn't defend on the same level at all. When Draymond Green came back into the game, it was a bit more stable, but by that point, the Grizzlies had trimmed down that 12-point halftime deficit to 3, and then at one point taken a lead early in the fourth quarter there. So Draymond was just important as those other 2 guys to me.
He was. And again, you always, I think, look to your best players on nights where you have to grind it out. You also look at your best players in terms of who's doing the scoring. And, it was not a scoring night for Draymond. Again, I was talking, we had the caller, the difference between 10 or 12 and 4 or 5 for Draymond a lot of times can be significant. But I thought Draymond was the ultimate war daddy tonight. He was just, again, going up against bigger players, defending. Like, the Warriors were charged up defensively after they got down. I mean, I'm looking through tonight, and I'll give some general thoughts on this one as I've got way more notes than I need. Ja Morant, by the way, did you catch Ja Morant yelling at the crowd the first jumper he made tonight? It was 2-0 Memphis, and he was yelling at the crowd. Moody missing open shots early.
I mean, we had chippiness from the literal tip.
When they had to redo it. We had a re-jump off the tip. It was 11-2 Grizzlies. From that point on, I thought the Warriors, until they built the 20-point lead, were dynamic. Like, they were championship-level defense from that point on. 11-2 to 55-35. Warriors with the advantage. So look at the math on that. That's a 29-point flip. And then the Warriors did let the Grizzlies back in the game. It was only a 12-point game at the half. The third quarter, the Grizzlies really got back in it and were comfortable. But it was enough big stuff. The Grizzlies hit some tough shots tonight, too.
They did.
They had a few rim out. The Warriors got a little lucky. I mean, as well as the Grizzlies shot it in the second half, they had a couple rim out. A couple of the Warriors didn't get the rebound on in this one. How about the wild sequence where you get the offensive rebound, steal, GP2 into the Bane 3. Like, GP2 gets the stop. And
there were multiple sequences where a loose ball went to a wide-open Desmond Bane 3.
At that point, I'm thinking, my goodness, are they going to be able to finish this thing at all? But great defense. Alex, definitely another one. One more. Greg's dry April. I'm kidding. Actually, we know that's not the case.
How'd that go with my birthday?
We know that's not the case.
With the Golden State Warrior from Mr.
Greg,
Liquor.
Greg was drinking stuff out of like plastic bags the other night. Like that was definitely not dry. It's definitely not dry April.
It's dry April 15th.
For Greg Silver.
Yeah.
But it is dry at April 15th when your birthday's April 14th. For Greg Silver. Anyway, we digress. I thought the defense was elite. From that point in which the Warriors were down 9 until they were up 20. Then there was some slippage, but enough key plays. Thank you, Alex, here at Harmonic and Thrive City. We killing it? Turn it down? Yep, turn it down. Doing last call. Love it. That's good. All right, that's good. Last call at Thrive City. So if you're in the area, stop by and see Alex and Jesse. here on Dubs OT. But no, I thought they got key stops, key rebounds. I mean, how big was Steph? The fourth quarter Steph. I mean, just Tim Kawakami put it out there. Like, somebody's going to have to make shots other than Steph. And nobody really did.
Yeah.
Except for Steph.
No.
Who hit just, as Kevin Harlan said, sticking that three. I mean, it was Jimmy and Steph and Jimmy. And then a little more Steph and then some Jimmy.
You needed something out of Buddy Hield or Brandon Pajemski or Moses Moody from beyond the arc, and you really didn't get it. And you got a couple from Gary Payton II, but it was Jimmy Butler who hit a couple that was kind of the unexpected. I mean, you really did not get a lot of perimeter production outside of Steph. And like I said, it's same thing as Sunday. When it was time in the fourth quarter, he cranked it up and he hit the big ones when he needed to. It looked like that thumb wrap was bothering him up until the very point when it was getting tense, and those are the moments he lives for. Greatest showman in sports. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think any fan base really deserves Steph Curry. That was kind of my takeaway watching that fourth quarter.
Yeah, it just, again, it's always your best players that lead you to victory in the biggest moments. And we'd be having a completely different conversation if Steph misses one or both of those shots. I mean, we'd probably be talking about a blown lead, a failure to execute, some
couple of calls,
a lot of officiating tonight. I mean, I had it ready. I mean, the calls at the end, I thought Danny in Vancouver brought up the point on the 5-second call that it might have been a little quick.
So that's what I thought.
For what
and then I saw a timer.
Oh, you went back with
on
the timer.
Internet.
So what was it?
It was a legit 5. It was like a 5.5.
Okay, it needs to be at least 5.5. Yeah. I was going to say it needs to be at least 5.5. So that's, I mean, it just, at some point you got to throw it in.
In real time in the arena when they called it, I thought, oh, wow, that was quick.
I did too, and obviously neither team had any timeouts at that point. But what's your concern level? I mean, Jimmy Butler, my God. I mean, the big question mark for this team has been, is he going to be there when the Warriors need him to be in terms of the volume shooting, volume scoring? Can he still do it? That was a question. Can he still do it? And I think tonight and really Sunday he showed, hell yes, he can still do it. Tonight even more so. I mean, it was mainly free throws Sunday. Tonight it was free throws and just getting buckets. He hit a couple of threes. Like, Jimmy Butler still got it in his bag. Like, what we saw 2 years ago, that Jimmy Butler is still there at age 35.
No, I would say if your question was about any concern, it was how many games over a 7-game series can you get Steph being Steph in the fourth quarter? How many games over a 7-game series can you get Draymond being the all-world defend 1 through 5 defensive player of the year caliber defender that he is, and on top of that, not have foul trouble? How many games can you get playoff Jimmy where he's not only making the right plays and getting to the free throw line, but he is that guy who can score? Because you're not getting through a playoff series, you're not getting through Houston, and you're not even probably taking this to 6 games if you can't get some kind of third-level scoring from a Pajemski, from a Moses Moody, from a Gary Payton II, if he can get crafty around the rim and cash in on those opportunities, or maybe from a Kuminga if he finds a role in the series, because to our point that we brought up on Sunday, he's played some of his better basketball this year against Houston.
He has. So I don't think he's completely out of the loop as it relates to this series. What do you make of now as things move forward, the layout of the series? I was stunned. I'll be honest. I was stunned to see, and we were trying to work through the technical stuff as the schedule came out. I was trying to get the schedule out because, as you know, I'm a self-proclaimed schedule nerd. Like, it's just, I am. And I had 2 possible scenarios for the schedule. It ended up being the second of the 2. I basically had all the days correct. Austin Scott can vouch for this, by the way, because I sent it to him earlier. I was stunned, though, that game 1's not at 12:30 Pacific and 2:30 Central. They're getting a night game in Houston, but they're getting the 4 days off, which we obviously have known for the last couple of days after Sunday. But it's 4 days off, and then it's 2 days off, and then it's 2 days off before game 2, before game 3. And then once you hit game 3, which is going to be Saturday, the 26th, it is every other day the rest of the series, 6, 7, whatever. I think the league's doing the Warriors a little bit of a solid there early, but you get it early, you ain't getting it late. So this team better make hay in the first 4 games of this series. You better be 100%. Up. You better be – you kind of need to be 3-1, I think.
Oh, well, if you're not 2-2, we got problems.
Well, yeah, if you're not 2-2, you're done.
Yeah, if you're not 2-2, then you're done if you're the Warriors. 3-1, I don't think is a terrible call. So if you go 3-1, you'd have Game 5 in Houston with a chance to take it. Houston would probably be highly motivated to go and win that. Then you'd have 1 day of rest in between the travel. You come back for Chase Center. And honestly, the first thing I think of is the blown opportunity to close it out against the Sacramento Kings in Game 6 on what was a much shorter travel leg. So if you can't do something like that, and then you got to go back to Houston for Game 7, and it's getting every other day, that's where it starts adding up in your schedule. So I hear you on the 3-1, because then you just got to win 1 of 3. You'd have a chance to do it at home. I think 2-2 is survivable, though. I think they've done it enough in Houston. Houston's got to show that they can close out a game at home as well, or close out a series at home, to where I think if you can go 2-2 after 4, you plenty have a shot to win 2 of the last 3.
Yeah, I think 2-2 is definitely what you want it to be at a minimum. I think the Warriors would believe they can finish the job at that point. But again, we've seen the cumulative effects. I think, Greg, we've seen the cumulative effects of all of these games that the Warriors have played over the last 2 months, honestly, and especially in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks to a month. Like, they have been playing big game after big game after big game after big game in an attempt to get to where they now are, which is in the playoffs. I think we have seen, though, as the games have moved forward and they've been more compacted, we have seen this team fatigue. I thought they were fatigued tonight. I thought they fought through it. I thought they were really fatigued tonight in a big way, and to the point where I would have been really concerned if they had to play even Friday against a team like Sacramento or Dallas. Had they lost this game tonight, had they lost 2 games in the fashion that they would have lost the 2 games.
No, this was it. And I was saying that from the second that Sunday was over and we were out here after the Clippers game. If you don't win tonight, your season was done. And maybe you found a way to win Saturday, but then you got 2 days of rest against a young, fresh, deep OKC team that won 68 games. That just wasn't going to happen. Yeah, I just wanted to be realistic on that one. Now you get a team that is kind of like last year's Oklahoma City in Houston. I think OKC has been plenty slept on by people who are looking at the playoff picture. And that's not to say that the Lakers or the Clippers couldn't come out of the West. The West is going to be just a bloodbath no matter what. But I think OKC is a different level than what they were last year. Definitely. I look at this year's Houston team similar to last year's OKC team.
I think they're a cross between last year's OKC team, we're talking about the Rockets here, and 2 years ago Sacramento team. Not in terms of style, but in terms of experience, and maybe doing maybe a little inflated with the overall record. Yeah. Like I think they're obviously much tougher, more physical, and more athletic. There's a little bit of 2 years ago Sacramento team, though, to me in this Rockets team. I think the Rockets team core is a little more stable and youthful and homegrown.
And the Rockets are a team that defends really well. Whereas
not style of play,
explosive offensively.
Not style of play or anything like that, but just in terms of accomplishment without guys who have really been there before. And this group obviously has not been there together before.
Yeah,
which I think is important. So I think there's a cross between OKC, who was, I think, a budding juggernaut, and Sacramento that was, that's a team that went from 11th or 12th in the West to 3rd.
Yeah.
I think the Rockets, I think, were 11 last year, or 11 or 12.
They were 11.
I think
they had like some dip at the end. But they were the team on the Warriors' heels.
Yeah, they were 11 last year. So they go from 11 to 2. Interestingly enough, I think the Kings went from 12 to 3 the year before. We touched on this. The Mavs went from 11 to the finals.
5 to finals, yeah.
So yeah, there's been kind of that weird jump with varying degrees of success. All right, 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. I want to get to a couple of texts here. We're going to let Greg go because Greg's got to get ready for the show with Greg Papa, which is coming up in about 10 and a half hours.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
He will sleep when he's dead. That is true. We all will. 925. How about Curry? Or I'm sorry. How about the postman? 3 threes, 5 rebounds. Gouda, like the cheese.
Oh.
You ever heard of Gouda?
Yeah, no, love me some Gouda.
Love some Gouda,
little double cream Gouda just to get a nice extra relaxing appetizer cheese.
Huge Quentin Post night.
That would hit right now.
408 asking, did Kerr save his job tonight, Greg Silver?
No.
Because it didn't need to be saved.
And if this is nothing to do with any of my personal opinions on Steve Kerr, I just think it is the state of where the organization is at. I think there are 2 people that can get Steve Kerr fired before the end of this run or the end of the careers, and it's Steph Curry and Draymond Green, and it's probably got to be in conjunction.
Yeah, you got to have both of them saying with the no vote in that instance. 657, Warriors have the Rockets and the rest of the West on notice. I would agree with that, Greg. We talked about this. Ime Udoka's comments after the Warriors played April 6th against the Rockets at Chase Center. I mean, he basically called them whiny expletives.
Yeah.
They basically said they're soft, they were whining, they started complaining about the officiating, and that's when we knew we had them.
I'll say this, though. In that game in particular,
the Warriors complained in that game.
What happened?
But why would you do that if you're Ime Udoka?
Yeah, well, he should know that, first of all, poking the bear, and the bear usually being Steph Curry and to some extent Draymond Green, usually doesn't go well for teams. Now, it's not to say they can't win. I'm just saying, when you get petty Steph Curry, usually takes them to another level. In that game in particular, with the Draymond Green flagrant foul and the explanation of the windup, the Rockets did respond much better to that.
They did. The Warriors were kind of flat. The Warriors came out flat in the third quarter. Gouda, by the way, 925, Gouda is a Dutch cheese. Every time Post hits a 3, yell Gouda.
Oh. There you go.
There you go. You learned something new. I love Gouda. I did not know that. 650, nice to see Steph taking some mid-range shots. Reggie mentioned that the Warriors don't like them taking them. Yeah, that's Reggie Miller, I believe.
Yes.
As the Reggie we're talking about there. Yeah, they did. They don't like it, but sometimes mid-range is how you get through some of these games against teams where you're up against it a little bit. All right, Greg, that's going to do it for you. It's not going to do it for us because we got to take another time out.
No, you got to keep
come
this
back.
thing rolling.
We got to do Dubs OT, and I have to get out by midnight.
I got to say this though. Part of why I stayed is because love being part of the show, and I'm a sicko. And another part of it is after just watching that game and being in the building, the heart rate was going to take a second to come down. Like I was not leaving to go right home and hit the pillow and just close my eyes.
Well, no, you're going to go home and be wound up till 2 a.m. anyway.
Exactly. So might as well go be wound up on Dubs OT with the fam.
You might as well. So, Greg, appreciate you, my man. We got Warriors Rockets. It's going to be on the air and on YouTube on Sunday. But you've got free reign, my man. We've got a YouTube only, I think, for Game 2 on Wednesday night. We'll figure it all out. As I'm going to be in Houston, that we can officially announce. I'll be in Houston for Games 1 and 2. I think Austin Scott is going to be in Houston as well for the KNBR digital team. So really looking forward to that. So we're going to have a good time. And we got you covered. It's the best Dubs coverage in the Bay. It's the best post game in the Bay. I mean, hands down. So, Greg, thank you, man. You're a huge part of this thing as we launched it in November of 2023. And we're keeping it rolling here into this is the fun time. This is what it's all about. This is part of what you helped us build here, and I just couldn't thank you enough, my man.
No, I mean, thank you. Thank you to Kyle. Thank you to Overnight Dave. Thank you to all the sound cutters that make the show happen night in and night out. But mostly, thank you to the 250-ish people that are still hanging out with us
100%.
at 11:39.
100%.
Awesome.
100%. All right, he's Greg. Timeout. We're coming back with Sounds of Dubs OT and fun with numbers, and then we got to get you the replay coming up at the end of the day here as the Warriors win at 121-116. It's KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
KNBR presents the sounds of Dubs OT.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
No class, no balls.
I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Now here's John Dickinson.
All right, we're back here. Dubs OT. Warriors win 121-116. They're in the playoffs. They're playing the Rockets. Game 1's on Sunday. We got you covered immediately following that here on YouTube and Twitch, and also on KNBR on the radio. We have about a 5-pound bag of show. We have about a 50-pound bag of show that we have to cram into about a 5-pound bag here in the last 12 minutes. But we're going to do it because the people demand that we do it, and it is the best Dubs coverage in the Bay, and we're taking the show to Houston beginning on Sunday. So let's jump right into it. We are going to do Kyle's Clicks. We are going to do Fun with Numbers, and we are going to get through our Sounds of Dubs OT here as the Warriors get the win, and we're going to hear from a number. We're going to hear from Steve. We're going to hear from Draymond. We're going to hear from Jimmy Butler. Boom, boom, boom. We'll start with Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr here right off the jump with some high praise for Jimmy freaking Butler, who ended the night with 38 points.
We anticipated that matchup. He just told me, I don't care who guards me. Just give me space, give me the ball. I'll make something happen. And that's the beauty of Jimmy. I mean, you guys can see it. We have morphed into a different team. We've got the movement and the flow of Steph, but we've also become, for half the game, a great ISO team. We've never been an ISO team here. There's great advantage to that, to be able to get to the line, to be able to generate offense without having to fly around and set a million screens. So Jimmy has completely changed everything for us since he's been here, and tonight was a great example of that.
Incredible. And yeah, Jimmy don't care who guards him. He's taking advantage. And Jimmy, I mean, they were cooking Edey in the first half in a big way. And Jimmy got into a rhythm, and Jimmy's getting fouled. Jimmy's getting to the free throw line. Incredible Jimmy Butler performance. And how about Steve? Steve's pro ISO now. Steve's like, let's just run. Let's just get the ball to Jimmy and just everybody get out of the way. We got 2 plays. Get the ball to Jimmy and Jimmy go get the ball. Wow. And you need a little of that, I think, to survive in the playoffs, and the Warriors have had it. All right, let's hear another from Steve Kerr before we move on to Draymond. Just a tremendous 2-game stretch here, back-to-back Sunday and tonight at Chase Center. This game was absolutely incredible, and Steve Kerr praised the Warriors' hustle and intangibles in this game tonight after having that be one of the areas in which the Warriors maybe came up a little bit short on Sunday against the Clippers.
The whole point of the game was to win the battles, just to win every loose ball, every rebound. This is a big, strong team, great rebounding team. And you saw it happen a few times because they got 16 offensive boards. Edey had 7 himself. When they get an offensive board and they're kicking it out to Jaren Jackson or Desmond Bane, I mean, it's a wide open 3. And so the focus was really on scrapping and getting to every loose ball. I thought the guys really fought hard. Guy only played, 6 minutes, but, 3 rebounds. He was flying around out there. Every possession matters, and I thought our guys played that way.
They definitely did, and every possession mattered. And, again, this game was won on the margins. I think as much as this game was won by the Warriors with Steph and what Jimmy Butler did in the 75 points combined, it was won by the hustle plays throughout the course of the entire freaking game. Rebound here, and they didn't get all of them, but rebound here, loose ball there. The Warriors did a much better job of that in this game, and it ultimately allows them to prevail and move forward now to play against the Rockets. All right, let's hear a couple of Draymond Green, from Steve Kerr to Draymond on the Warriors and on the impact nationally, I think, and globally of one Wardell Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry played here. It's the greatest show on hardwood over the last 10 years. Yeah, I think so. I know I like watching Steph play, and I'm kind of a basketball peer, so I know the rest of the world got to really appreciate it. But, yeah, I think there's no surprise. Steph Curry's been the best show in basketball for the last 10 years, and that hasn't slowed down a bit at all. I think the numbers will probably back that up. I don't necessarily know what the numbers are, but I'm pretty sure the numbers probably back it up.
Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that. And, yeah, Steph Curry with I know that Steve Kerr jokes that the stats for all the playing games just kind of disappear. But Steph has been incredible, actually, in all of these playing games, which don't count as playoff games. They don't count as regular season games. But I think tonight adds to the Steph Curry lore. I mean, he is top 10 of all time, and he is continuing to push his way, I think, into the top 5 conversation. If the Warriors win a chip this year or next year, he's in the top 5. Hell, I think we can have a conversation about it anyway, even if the Warriors don't win another chip. But if he does, I mean, look out. And what he did tonight in terms of shot making when nobody else could was it was freaking legendary. I mean, it truly was. All right, another Draymond talking about Trace Jackson Davis and the impact. What impact could TJD have on the game tonight? Well, Draymond sharing a bit of a cool story here.
I want to mention something that I saw today that no one will give a about. Sorry. Trace Jackson Davis did something on the bench today. He didn't play in the game. There was no seats left on the bench. Quentin Post said, Trace, can I get that seat? And Trace just got up. And a part of me was baffled that he got up for the rookie, because the rookie, if there's no seat, you sit on the floor. He just got up and gave him the seat. And I walked over to him and I said, that's one of the most selfless things I've ever seen a teammate do, because 99% of the time, you're going to be like, you can go sit on the floor, Rook, or go find a seat somewhere else. But he knew he wasn't part of the rotation, and yet the rookie was. They're playing the same position, and he got up and he literally got up and went and stood in the tunnel because there were no seats. And so I just wanted to put that out there, because that, to me, like, that's why you win games. It's chemistry, it's selflessness, it's togetherness. And I just thought that was a huge moment, and nobody else saw it except us three. And so I wanted to share that because I thought that was a really big moment for our bench, that, you know, you can make him sit on the floor and nothing happens. Or you can get up and boost confidence in him and he go back out there and hit a three. And I thought that was special.
Wow. That incredible. The little things matter, as Otis Bird III says. Andis Brown with maybe the comment of the night. TJD treating Post like a senior citizen. I mean, I think, yeah, TJD is younger than Quentin Post. At that point, even though QP is a rookie. Good comment there. But wow, I think it does show. I think it does show the connectedness of this team. That's a great story from Draymond Green, and I think it shows how this Warriors team has it dialed right now. All right, couple from Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler here. Comment of the night. Good night. Comment of the night on Jimmy Butler wanting to get Steph another ring.
I want everybody to be happy. For sure, Steph, he deserves it. What he's done for the game of basketball, not only this city and this organization. He's in it for the long haul. He wants to win. He wants to win every single game, every single possession. And I know I want to win a championship. So he needs this will be number 5 for him. So he needs one more. He's always, it's like I always say, you're never really out of any game when you have him on your team. And if you have a lead of 5, he can easily take your lead to 15 to 17, maybe even 20 all by himself. So I'm glad that he's on my team.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler, I think we've talked a lot about how Jimmy Butler has reinvigorated Steph and Draymond. I think Steph and Draymond, and especially Steph, have reinvigorated Jimmy Butler to the point where he still shows that he's got that in the tank because he wants to get that first ring and potentially get Steph the 5th. All right, one more. Jimmy Butler post-game here after the Warriors get the win, and he's talking about the one and only Stephen Curry saving the day again for the Warriors.
That's a Batman if I've ever seen a Batman. Always coming to save the day. You're never out of any game. And more than anything, he's just so poised, he's so calm, and he was a huge part of us getting this victory.
All right, Jimmy Butler, that courtesy of TNT. Jimmy calling Steph Batman. Oh, my God, I'm dead. I'm dead. That's like, he called him Batman. Jimmy's the best. Like, Jimmy is freaking hilarious, man. All right, we got to keep it moving. So let's get to our fun with numbers.
This is Dubs OT with JD. Time now for fun.
I'm a fun guy.
With numbers.
No, I'm just having fun.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
I hate to make it so quick and abrupt, but usually we have all these numbers and Warriors did this and somebody did that and all this stuff on Fun with Numbers. But here's our Fun with Numbers for tonight. Jimmy Butler, 38. Steph Curry, 37. And the Warriors win a play-in tournament game for the first time in franchise history. That's it. That's your Fun with Numbers for tonight. And they're playing the Rockets at 6:30 on Sunday in Houston, and we're going to be there. All right, let's get some Kyle's clicks. We got about 90 seconds here, Kyle. So I want to run through 5. Robert Brown. Kevin Harlan could make Korean handball great. Yes, he could, without a doubt. Next up, we go from Robert to San Jose Jazz fan 4. Don't you have homework, kid? Yes, that kid was awesome, the caller who chimed in earlier. We appreciate him. We appreciate everybody. We love everybody, all ages here on the Sports Leader. Continuing on, Andis Brown. Wouldn't be an official show if we didn't get a comment from Andis Brown. Steve looks at Dre. Dre tells him to challenge. Steve's looking at the Jumbotron, sees one replay, and just challenges. Andis, you're right, my man. Like, Steve's got to have more restraint. Steve, and I think even some on the bench and the staff are like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Steve still does it. Can't do it. Steve, you got it. Like, Steve, like at some point. Robert, by the way, JD, are you going to Toyota Center? Yes, I am. First time since 2019. I am going to Toyota Center, flying out likely Saturday. And we'll be live from Toyota Center Sunday and Tuesday. So looking forward to it. Oh, and my guy, just real quick, come on over. You want to get on camera? Just say hi. Just real quick. Yeah, we're on YouTube. Eric Hasseltine, great play-by-play man for the Memphis Grizzlies. They've got one more game to win, so go win it. I'm just gonna say that. Great to see you, Bay Area guy. Yeah, you don't have to comment on that. I'll comment on that. No, one of the best in the business and one of the greats. I'm up on a hard out. It's great to see you, my man, from the Bay, and a great play-by-play guy. So yeah, go beat Sac or Dallas. I'm for it. I'm all for it. So yeah, we'll appreciate you, E. Jimmy Jesus, hell of a nickname approved. All right, comment of the night.
Now, time for the Dubs OT comment of the night.
Jimmy is the son of Jordan, LOL. There you go. That's it. All right, we're out. For Kyle and everybody here at Harmonic, Dubs OT, we'll talk to you Sunday in the Sports Leader.
You're looking for
Emirates Cup or bust.
Oh, hell yeah.
First of all, you got to start off liking each other.
I'm super cereal.
Big, fat dub.
Ain't nobody going to stop me.
I just wake up and I can shoot it no matter if I'm playing or not.
But great win.
Who are these guys?
I love you, JD. Bye, sugar.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
Jimmy freaking Butler puts it in.
Obviously, I'm shooting the ball well. It's pretty obvious.
That's a Batman if I've ever seen a Batman. Everything's gonna be all right.